About 3 months ago, I was contacted by members of the Bikers for Foster Kids organization in Searcy, Arkansas. They wanted me to help them piece together some interviews about the foster care system in the county. The resulting video would be used to raise awareness about foster kids. And let me be upfront about this. I'm no professional filmmaker. I'm not an expert director or editor. This is just my attempt to share with you what I learned. Honestly, I thought this would be an easy cut and paste video. I thought I would be able to take their footage and just slam it all together and be done. I was wrong. These are the stories that broke me.
You know, we've had a couple of children who have been molested and abused, and that's tough. That's probably the worst thing, is that knowing that this child at such a small and innocent age was violated, and that they will carry that with them for the rest of their lives, and seeing the struggles that even as a small 3-4-year-old child, how they deal with that's pretty tough.
Some of the worst cases besides the environmental are the physical abuse. You know, it breaks your heart to see a child come into the system with a cast on his leg or his arm or stitches, you know, and be at that young of an age and just abused. I mean, you would think that a parent couldn't do that to their child, but it happens, and it happens often.
Newborn babies that are only a few days old that have actually been raped and have had to stay in children's hospital while being treated and fixed, you know, to parents renting out their children for horrible things, to just absolute pure neglect.
We got a little girl one night who was 4 years old, beautiful little girl. I think they're all beautiful, but beautiful little girl. And she was crying so hard that I said that night that I heard what it sounds like when a heart breaks. I heard it. I could feel it. I could feel it and I could hear it. But it wasn't this little girl's heart breaking for her parents. It's breaking because she's being separated from her brother. There's not enough foster homes in White County. We can only take one kid. Whoever took the brother can only take one kid. So her heart is breaking for her brother. She has no idea what's going to happen to him, and she's 4.
We had a couple of kids that were taken from a home, and when DHS had got there, the person that reported them had said that she witnessed the boys eating out of a trash can, and that's how the boys ate. And then, you know, sometimes when you get to talking to the kids after they've been in your house for a few hours, they kind of open up and they tell you a little bit more. And, you know, one of them said that he had eaten a camera and that it was crunchy and it didn't taste very good. And, you know, it's just, they'll eat pretty much anything you put in front of them. You could feed them cat food and they would eat it. And they would think it was good.
Our first placement were a brother and sister. The little girl was 3 years old, the little boy was 2 years old. And, you know, we got them, and they were described to us as feral children. They had been through multiple homes, and they were just wild and crazy, you know. And they had discipline problems, and they had scratches and gouges all over their arms and their face. And I thought maybe they had come from a home with a small dog or a cat, and that, you know, being small children, they didn't know how to treat the cat or dog, you know. But then I later found out that they had done that to themselves. They had been scratching and gouging each other. And then later, you know, as we dig in deeper and we start, you know, finding out about their history and going into therapy to find out that they, you know, had been molested and abused, it just broke my heart to see this little girl who, you know, is going to live with this pain. And we still have a relationship with these children to this day, and I still see them, and I see her bright smiling face, but I know the kind of demons that she has inside, and that's tough.
I've had a few experiences with kids one of the ones that sticks out the most is dealing with a child that was at the hospital. He came up to me and said, "Mr. Officer, can I show you what my stepdad did to me?" And he pulled down his pants, and he had bruise marks, burn marks on the bottom of his legs up to his mid-back, around his back area. And seeing that he was comfortable enough to talk to me about it, but at the same time you could tell that he was hurting.
We were in the courtroom, and she was standing right next to me, and she just said, "I don't want her." It surprised me more than ever. I mean, it's my mom, Mom's supposed to take care of their kids, always.
I'm not really scared about giving them back. I'm just scared for them sometimes. Especially if you're not 100% positive that the parent has changed. And you're scared that he's going to come back into the same situation.
Everybody thought that foster kids were sort of juvenile delinquents, sort of. They were just unruly, ill-mannered kids, and that's usually not the case.
Most of them, they think foster children, they got horns and a tail running around. They're really not. They're cute little kids of all different shapes and sizes, and they're really cute. And if you can get past the shell and get to working with them and begin to change their lives, it's very rewarding.
That's another misconception, that most of the foster care kids come from just dire straits, and that's not necessarily the case. I haven't personally, but I have known other CASA volunteers that have had children who come from middle-class families, upper middle class, and even upper-class families that they just got off track, and they just couldn't pull it together, and the county had to step in and help them out.
I think once a child gets to the foster home, it seems like they're having a lot of negative repercussions of being in foster care. However, I do think you have to relate that back to what caused them to be in foster care in the first place. Children blame themselves that they were removed from their home. They deal with depression over that. They have thoughts of harming themselves. They have feelings of hopelessness, and they're scared. They're worried about what's going to happen to them. They're worried that they've done something to cause mommy or daddy to be in trouble. It's a lot of burden for a child to carry on them. I think it causes issues in school. Even though the other kids might not know that they're a foster child, they know, and therefore they kind of feel like they carry around a sign or a symbol on them, which in itself is a lot of weight for them to carry as well. I think that a lot of times older siblings who are in foster care now become the parent to the younger child, and that's a burden they shouldn't have to carry either, but they do. They feel like they have to fill in the role of the mom or the dad now to the younger sibling. You have a lot of anger issues they have to deal with, a lot of misplaced anger that should be faced on the situation at home or placed on mom and dad or what caused them to be removed in the first place. But when you get to a foster home, you're going to place that anger on what's in front of you, which is your foster parents or the situation that you're in currently.
When they go to school, it's like they put on this mask, where the older ones that I go to school with sometimes, you can see that they put on a mask like nothing's going on. But the younger ones, they really don't know what's going on, so they really can't say a whole lot. All they can say is really that my mom and dad are sick, and I don't know what to do. But all they know is that it's just a matter of patience, but it's also the matter of they want their parents back. They want to go home because they know that this isn't their home.
We're on a busy street here in Searcy, so anytime the fire department would drive their trucks by, the little girls would crawl underneath the desk and hide because of the siren. If an ambulance went by, they would always hide. And that's one thing we try and teach the children, hey, the police are not to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of the police. You don't have to be afraid of the firemen. Those are things we have to work on, because a lot of times the younger ones, they will associate those noises with something bad. And so if the house was on fire, they may actually try and hide rather than run to the fireman or the police officer or whoever's in there trying to help them. They would actually hide. So things like that are really tough to deal with.
You know, to my knowledge, our system in White County does everything, exhausts all, everything that they have to keep siblings together. That's always going to be the best situation. But when that doesn't happen, you've separated possibly the only person that understood the situation they came from and could give them some sort of comfort from home. And so you've caused that child to then feel like they've been abandoned, like they're alone to face the situation they're faced in by themselves. It scares them. They carry a lot of fear around for what's happening with the other sibling, especially the older siblings will worry about the younger ones. About half the kids that we see here are foster children. We've never seen a child here who is a victim of abuse from their foster family.